Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Man Up. Now, there is a characteristic, or there is something that a man can never accept. And we seem to be accepting it a lot these days. It's pity. We're told that we're not talented. We're told that we're hard done by, that we didn't have a head start in life. And I'm specifically talking to those people who have been told that they've been hard done by, or have been told that that everyone else has a head start and that they should expect less from their lives. I'm specifically talking to those people, which is a lot of us, but also those people who there's a part of you that doesn't believe it. A lot of people will just hear this, and or they'll get pity from someone, be it like some people call it understanding or sympathy or empathy, whatever. It's pity. Some people will get pity from people and they'll accept it and they'll use it as an excuse to just, lower my expectations. I'm not supposed to do great things. I'm not supposed to create the life I want to create. So I'm just going to do what is expected of me. I'm just reading a book, and I don't have it with me. It's on Captain James Cook. He's got an interesting story. He was born at a time when your social status determined where you were going to end up in life, especially if you took a job in the Navy or something like that. Your social rank determined if you're going to be a captain, whatever. He was born to a poor farming family, but he always had the inkling, or it's more than a desire. It's a desire for greatness, but it's an inkling that fate will give that to you. That somewhere in your fate, somewhere in your future, if the work is done, if the risks are taken, if the intelligence is used with the work, with the risk taking, that greatness will be yours. Like, he had an inkling that he was destined for more than what was expected of the people around him. And I think everyone should have that desire. Everyone should have that inkling. That inkling led him to leave his house, to join, become a seaman, as a merchant, rose up through those ranks because he studied. He actually studied more than anyone. He worked harder than anyone. Rose up through those ranks, got to the point where he was offered a job to captain his own ship, but then he'd been talking to guys in the Navy, and as a merchant, your routes are pretty much predetermined. He would have had a much wealthier life if he had stayed with this, but greatness to him was adventure, exploration, seeing new things, conquering new lands. So he quit, he was captain of his own ship, quit, started at the bottom of the Navy, then worked his way up to captain his own ship once again. It took a long time. But had a guy like him listen to what everyone else expected of him, we wouldn't be reading books about him. Had Napoleon, you might not agree with everything he did, obviously, but had he done what was merely expected of him, he would never be emperor. We wouldn't be reading books about him. He grew up in a place, Corsica, that was just conquered by France. He wasn't wealthy, didn't have social status. He actually despised wealthy people because while he was studying, they were out drinking and messing around with women and so forth. He thought they were wasting the opportunities that were given, and they were, and he basically snatched their opportunities from them. So, if there's one thing, there's a lot the man doesn't do, obviously, but I can't see there's a couple things I can't see a guy I respect doing, and that's one, saying I'm offended, or that's offensive. I've never heard a man I respect saying that's offensive. That's the biggest bitch move I've ever heard in my life. It's not offensive. It's just offensive to you. And how you get offended is beyond me. You differ in opinion. That's it. You don't get offended. The other thing is, that's a whole other tangent. The other thing is he doesn't accept pity. Think of the man you respect. Think of your old man. If you have a good old man, you're lucky. I've got a great old man. I could never see him accepting pity or people's understanding or sympathy or whatever in any circumstance. He accepts life the way it is, and that's what a man should do. You accept life the way it is, and you do the best you can possibly do with it. So never, ever just live the life that's expected of you. If you were born into poverty, if you were born with some ailment, if you were born with you're not as naturally intelligent as the rest of the kids, or you're not as naturally athletic as the rest of the kids. If you were born with some kind of setback and people are starting to tell you that you are hard done by, don't fucking listen to them. It's enraging. Do not allow their pity to determine where you end up in life. Don't allow their sympathy to give you an excuse not to work your fucking ass off, not to study, not to train, not to read, not to set insanely audacious goals, because that's what so many people do. They let other people's pity, other people's understanding, other people's handouts allow them to stay where they are and then never rise above. That is the antithesis of what it means to man up. To man up is to determine your own fate, never take no for an answer, just keep on hustling, and get off your ass. Don't accept others' expectations for what your life should be. You have so much more control than what you understand. You have control over your attitude, your emotions, how much work you do in a given day, the goals you set, how audacious you are, how ambitious you are, how much you learn, how much you grow. That's everything. That's all the control you need. So take control of things you can control, which is a lot, and forget everything else. Don't listen to the people that are trying to make excuses for you. Don't take their pity. That's it for Man Up. Talk to you guys soon.